Oh, hi, everybody. This is Stefani Capizzi, and this is the first in a series on my Becoming Extraordinary platform. And today I'm interviewing Tina Eno, Tina Eno is a beautiful person, songwriter, singer, guitarist, and she lives in a
Is she going to be here soon?
Really cool house.
Is she going to be here soon? I want to meet her.
No, I think I see you right here. In Melbourne, Florida, yes?
Yes.
And so, Tina, thank you so much for agreeing to let me have the opportunity to interview you.
Thank you.
Today.
This is fun.
Okay. Good. I'm glad it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Super
Let's
awesome.
get to the meaty questions.
It's fun for me too, right? Oh, we don't even know where this is going to go. So we'll try to keep it, but why? I don't know. Never mind. So my first question for Tina, for you, is at what age did you become interested in doing music, and what drew you to that?
I have two older sisters. I'm the youngest of three girls, and we had a piano in the house. My mom was always playing, and my oldest sister, Tony, she's 11 years older than I am, played guitar. So from the time I was, we were taking piano lessons when I was like in the first and second grade. And then my sister played guitar, and we sang 3-part harmony from the time I was really little.
So cool.
Second, third grade and all of that.
Yeah.
So I definitely got the bug when I was a kid, just a little kid, singing 3-part harmony with my sisters.
Cool. Yeah. That is really a cool thing.
Yeah, it's neat. Then we lived in the Panama Canal Zone. We moved a lot when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But we were living in the Canal Zone, and we drove back to the States in my parents' station wagon, and my sister played guitar the whole way back to the States. For me, I was between the third and the fourth grade. And when we got back, I could hear what she was doing on the guitar. I picked up her guitar and started playing it just because I could hear some of the things she was doing. So that's when I started playing.
Sweet. That is very cool.
Yeah. Oh,
very young.
Hi.
From a very young age.
My cat.
That's your cat. And here I am
Mosby.
switching my mic right in the middle of our interview. What's your cat's name?
Mosby.
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 Well, Mosby's here to join us.
Yes, she is. Yes,
hopefully she won't trip up the
She's going to eat the wire. No worries.
Okay. Well, all right. Awesome. What a great picture I have in my mind of that, actually. What a beautiful, beautiful thing with your family and the traveling and the singing on the way and playing songs.
Like old Peter, Paul, and Mary and Kingston Trio and all of that sort of thing.
Wow. I love that.
I do too.
Cool thing. Yeah.
It was neat. Very cool.
Yeah. All right. So, of course, you came along and kept doing music.
Very natural for me.
Yeah. This wasn't even quite on here, but how old were you when you wrote your first song?
I was probably 11.
Yeah.
And we lived in Great Falls, Virginia. And I was taking guitar lessons from a guy named Peter Schreiner that lived around the lake from me. We had a big lake in the backyard. And my dad and I were standing at the window in the dining room looking out at the lake. And he suggested the title to my first song, which was "The Ice on My Pond Cracked Up All Over You."
Wow.
So that's what I wrote.
The ice on my pond cracked up all over you. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. That's kind of cool. So you were 11 years old.
Yeah.
And that song, that was inspired by something your dad said. Yes. Oh, how cool.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a great story. That was a great story about your first song, 11 years old. From something Dad said. So now I'm going to switch to, do you have a favorite song that you've written? If so, what makes it your favorite song?
Well, actually, it's a recent song that's sort of a new favorite for me. I wrote a song recently called Miami 1964. And it's about Miami in 1964.
No kidding!
It's crazy. But
I can't believe it.
I know. when I was little, we lived in Miami for a while. And I wrote a song just about what that was like for me at the time. I was 6 years old,
Yeah.
I think. And my older sister, you know, that I mentioned before as somebody who was an influence for me musically, you know, your family's always an influence on you. But in those days, life is certainly simple when you're just a little kid. And we used to go to the Keys and go snorkeling and diving and skiing and, you know, and fishing and all that sort of thing. And I remember a specific memory is of my dad, and I would jump on his back, you know, and hold on to his back, and he'd dive down and we'd pick up conch and starfish, and I write that into the song. And the reason that it's special to me is my dad and I always had a pretty tumultuous relationship.
Okay.
And this is a really positive memory, you know, that I feel like he deserves for me to honor, because I think lots of times we don't always, if things are rocky or difficult, sometimes that's what you focus on. Yeah. And he doesn't deserve that.
So true.
He deserves good memories too. So that's why I like that song. I wrote that particular memory into that song. And a lot of other really good memories. So that's my current favorite.
Okay. Amazing. Maybe you'll consider playing it for us at the end of this interview.
I just might do that.
Okay, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. Don't you think? I think so. I think it would. Oh my gosh. Let me move to my... Oh, okay. Here's the next question. If you could be any fruit, what would it be?
Any fruit? A fruit?
A fruit.
I think I'd be an orange.
Just throw something funny in. Why would you be an orange?
Well, I feel like it matches my palette, my kind of color palette. Yeah. Okay. And, you know, they're fresh.
Hopefully.
And, yeah, and when you peel off the layer, it's sweeter on the inside than the outside is.
I see the whole thing.
So I'm very deep with this analogy, but that's what I'd be an orange.
Perfect. Now I see why. That's great. Sweet
on
the inside. One. Yeah. I want to throw a surprise one at you. Would you be willing to share what is your process for songwriting? Like how a song comes to you or how you do that? I
know everybody's process is different, but for me, I sing my thoughts. Like especially if there's something going on in my life, good or bad. Yeah. But if I have emotion about something, I usually kind of sing my thoughts. I mean, whatever that might be, like I'm doing an interview with Stefani today. But I sing my thoughts. And so lots of times an emotional thought forms in my head musically. And so I get words and melody together. Yeah. For whatever that is. And it usually just forms sort of a loop in my head, and then I just build around that. And lots of times I write in my head completely, like I write, and in Miami 1964, I wrote in my head.
Wow.
Like I just write, I get the idea going in there, and then I write it all. I don't know how or why, but I just do that. Before I actually pick up a pen and write it down, I just write in my head.
In your head, it's all there. Before you even write it down. That is amazing.
I usually write the whole thing before I write it down. And I can hear it and everything in my head. So I usually, finally, I'll write the lyrics down, and then I pick up my guitar and try to find what I hear.
Okay.
So that's how I do it.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Different. Everybody is different, but that I haven't heard that you write the whole thing in your head first, and intentionally make sure it's all written in your head first.
That's my normal process. And then other times I've had something that flies into my head and I feel like it's going to go. So I will write that down.
Yeah.
And build from there. But I don't know. It's weird. Mostly it's in my head.
Yeah. That's amazing. Any guess on how many songs you've written? Or maybe you don't know.
Well, not all that. I mean, I feel like it's not that many. I mean, I feel like it's less than 100. I'm sure it is less than 100.
That seems like a lot of songs to me.
I don't know. It feels like
less than 100.
It should be more. It feels like it should be more. Like I feel like I should work on it more. I work on all of them very hard, actually, but I feel like I should be able to say, okay, today I'm going to write a song, but I don't really do it that way.
Yeah.
Because mine seem to be born of a real thought in my head.
Right.
It
that you
seems
can't
to
force.
be that they happen when they happen.
Yes.
And I think to really master it, you just need to be able to say, okay. And I have written kind of, somebody will say, hey, write a song. A friend of mine used to suggest titles to me all the time.
Yeah.
And so I would just write to a title.
Wow.
But
yeah.
usually
and so you could.
Yeah,
I mean, you can. You can. Yeah. Yeah. Right. But generally, organically, that's not you. It seems like a lot of songs have come to you. You say less than 100 is not very many, or you seem to have this feeling like I should be able to sit down and write songs like that. Wonder what drives that. Why do you feel that's something you should do?
Just because when you read about songwriters and people that really, really write, and the people that do manage to make success of something, it's not usually because they've got 2 or 3 really good songs.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, usually they're kind of can produce.
Yeah, right.
I just feel like you're supposed to be able to produce like that. But, you know, then again, it's what are your goals? I'm not a Nashville songwriter or anything trying to write hits.
Right.
Just this person writing stuff that's in my head.
Right.
So,
and they come out amazing pieces of art.
Well, I don't know, but they come out as something.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty amazing. That's really amazing. Under 100. You threw me with that one. Only
well, it's under 100. It's definitely under 100. It might be under 50. I don't know. I think there's more, but I forget them sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. They kind of fall off. Don't stay in the... Yeah. That I certainly have that happen a lot of times. Students, which then makes it hard to really track back to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you found that some songs come and you play them like a lot for a little while because they're so much a part of something that's going on?
Absolutely.
And they're almost like therapeutic during that time. And then they kind of go by.
And then they go away.
Yeah. Like they're supposed to be there for a while for you.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about them too.
It is a processing thing.
Yeah.
I think it definitely is a way of processing emotion and chapters of your life and all the different things that happen.
Yeah.
And then they can kind of take on different meaning too as your life changes.
True. Can you think of one that's happened to you like that?
Well...
Now I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Kind of, sort of, but...
Not necessarily one you want to discuss.
That was right in a second, but it seems like a really good thing to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we could get back to it. We'll just see.
If it comes to me.
If it comes to you. Okay, let me think. That was your creating process. Now, did you in your life have anybody who maybe was a particular mentor or an artist that you can say heavily influenced you and your music?
Really, it is just so close in family. My sister being a huge influence. And that we did sing a lot of those old folk songs. And so for me, those harmonies were really a big deal.
Yeah.
And Peter, Paul, and Mary and that kind of like core folky kind of harmony was a big influencer. But at the same time, I was really into the Beatles and Jackson Browne, you know, later on. Jackson Browne and James Taylor and all of those things were really big.
Yeah.
Big influences. And then my dad would be like, you need to play Hank Williams and Eddie Arnold. And I'm like, what?
Oh, really?
But I love that stuff. So I love old country. And so it all has kind of mushed together.
Yeah.
As a
kaleidoscope
set
of things.
Influences.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever wanted to necessarily be like a particular artist.
Yeah.
I think I just always wanted to kind of be like whatever I am.
Yeah. The uniqueness of you and what comes out as that, which is so important to me.
I think it's important for all of us to not be afraid of our own voice, own that and that voice and that style. And like even lots of times I'll think, oh my gosh, I'm boring myself to tears with what I'm writing. You know, I need to write something different, but it's not me. Right. And I try to write these different things so I can be cool, or it's upbeat, or it's like okay, but it's not me. I mean, it's just, I'm forcing this thing that's not very natural. So
right. And it's funny what the things that motivate us to feel like we should force this thing to be something that isn't us, or who we represent, or what we feel, or any of that. Right. Yeah. Those are the things to notice we're noticing, and not let them be a part, you know, of it. And that's a wonderful thing to hear about. Like, I like to hear your inside thoughts of you as a creative artist, and for anybody to get to witness or listen to what creative people have inside them always fascinates me, because it's stuff that maybe we don't really talk about very much, and it's really important. And how it not only relates to like our craft, but so much of that, kind of like with your orange analogy, is refers to kind of how we handle things in life in a big way, you know, not just us as artists, but as human beings. And so that's really awesome. I got another question. Let me find it. How about so you perform in public a lot, and have for many, many years. Do you have something that you do? Is it just like a piece of cake or something you do to help yourself prepare for when you're going on stage? Or are you nervous when you go up on stage?
Honestly, it's a very happy place for me, a very comfortable place.
Yeah.
And I don't do a whole lot to prepare. And every once in a while, like I will wake up on a certain morning and I just have a weird feeling in me, or I have an anxiousness, or I feel nervous. And if I know I have to sing that night, I carry that anxiousness all the way into the gig and feel anxious about it. Yeah. That happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I usually start playing, and usually that just goes away. But that's a weird one-off, because usually I don't think anything at all, and I am extremely ill-prepared, and I wing it all of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable with that. I like that. I kind of like the unknown. I like playing gigs and taking requests for songs, and I don't really know the song, but I like to challenge myself and try to play it anyway and see how far I can get before I either can't figure out the chord, or forget words, or don't know words. So I like to just woo. I like to wing it. I'm a good wing it person. Yeah, which is fun, but it also I should. I should probably practice more. Like, I'm not a good practicer. Mm-hmm. So I don't really have a process. I usually just try to make sure my clothes are actually on properly, and you know, I don't have anything in my teeth, and go on from there. But that's my general prep.
That's so great. Oh, I just love something about that whole thing, and it's so natural.
It's easy. I don't know why it's easy for me. Yeah. Something that I know for some people, like they say, I can never get up in front of people. And I don't know why that is easy to me. It might be a little easier than some true intimacy sometimes. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Right. That it's, I don't know. Yeah. Easier for me to display that vulnerability in a more public setting than it is maybe in a private one.
Yeah. Somehow it doesn't seem as vulnerable in its own way. Right. Totally. Yeah. It seems that way. Oh, you just reminded me something about. Do you feel just the same way as public speaking? The same kind of feeling? Or is that I hate that, but I can sing in front of everybody?
I like public speaking.
You like it?
It's really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great
I like job interviews too, which is weird. My daughter likes my daughter likes job interviews too. She does great at it. Yeah.
Wow. It's
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, those kinds of things I think are fun. Yeah. It's like a performance. I don't know.
Right. Which is great. And you seem to be someone who enjoys the unknown, as in like it just unfolds to what is going to happen. Like the night when you're playing a gig, it's like
I do like that.
Yeah,
I don't really have a set list. I mean, rarely do I have a list. I'm going to play this, 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 and this.
Okay.
I usually like look at people and go, I think they'd probably like this song, and then I play that.
That's so
all the
cool.
weird stuff going on in my head.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that whole feeling of how you approach it and do it. And it's not even like an approaching, because you just seem to do it so naturally. That's really
I can't get across town without GPS.
I hear you.
But,
me neither.
Yeah. I mean, I really do struggle with that.
Wow. Okay.
But,
yeah. Hey.
They have GPS, so it's okay.
All right, there you go.
I'm good.
It's like we have readers.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Appreciate what there is there to help us, guide us to where we're trying to get to, one way or the other. Okay, let me see. I think I only have one more question, unless I think of one, which I very well may. If you could have your fans remember you by one thing, I could say like the end of your life or whatever, your fans, all your fans remember you by one thing, what would that be?
Gosh, I don't know. I want people to feel something when I sing.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I always kind of make a joke about it, but like I always say, I love it if I can make somebody cry. If somebody cries, I feel like I did my job.
Right.
Not because you're trying to make somebody sad, but that's not usually what it is.
Yeah.
It's really just that somebody felt something.
Right.
And that's what's, I think, important to me. Like, I've never thought of myself as a technical singer and a precise kind of guitar player at all, but I do feel like I have emotion that I'm not necessarily afraid to share.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want people to come away with is feeling something.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I would.
Feeling something. Yeah. Which is a lot about what music is and what musicians and songwriters bring to this world, because it's that connection. Your vulnerability evokes a vulnerability in other people. Might just be one person in that entire room of people, but that's how that was supposed to happen. And,
right.
Yeah.
And I think I've learned over the years, whereas I used to be very self-conscious when I started writing when I was a lot younger. Self-conscious about saying certain things like, oh, somebody's going to think something bad about me, based on something I sang.
Yeah.
But then I learned that it isn't about me at all.
Right.
And everyone listens with their own life, their own, experience. That's how we filter things. We can only see it through our own experience. And so if my experience is probably like a lot of other people's experiences. I mean, we're humans. We share all these same conditions. So instead of my being worried now about whether somebody thinks something about me, they don't think anything about me at all.
Yeah.
Their own experience resonates. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like people to think that I wrote something about them.
Yeah. Right.
In a way I did.
Yes.
I mean, it was about me, but it is about them.
Right.
Because we all share these things.
It's beautiful. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. I think we were talking the other day about how that is a superpower. It is a superpower to have that ability, and the place you come from and the way you share your music is the place, meaning the place in your heart, and of course the place in all the experiences of your life that have created you to be what you are today and what you're able to share with the world. Yeah. I appreciate the time you're taking to
Thank you.
spend helping us get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks,
and
Stefani.
The process. So just wondering, how do you feel about sharing a song? Perhaps the one that's your favorite right now.
No, I'd love to.
So we're back. And back with Tina Eno. She is going to play her song, what's it called?
Miami 1964.
Miami 1964. Okay, take it away.
station wagon in the driveway, rear facing back seat, loaded up with kids and fishing gear, heading for the Keys. Turquoise waters, my granddad's boat, swimming by a sandy shore. Miami, 1964. Playing Marco Polo, riding bikes in the neighborhood, slumber parties at the Callahan's house, across the street in Manglewood, jealousy windows, no AC, and no need to lock the door. Miami, 1964. Sunburns and freckles, my skinny little arms wrapped around my daddy's neck, riding on his back, diving down to the ocean floor, picking up conch and starfish, and swimming back up toward the sun, over and over until the day was done. Mom singing Andy Williams songs, Beatles on the stereo, big sister in her villager dresses with matching Capizios. My 6-year-old imagination watched her swaying on a high school dance floor. Miami, 1964. Sunburns and freckles, my skinny little arms wrapped around my daddy's neck, riding on his back, diving down to the ocean floor, picking up conch and starfish, and swimming back up toward the sun, over and over until the day was done. I'm glad I remember a simpler time before I knew what life had in store. Miami, 1964. Miami, 1964. Miami, 1964.
Wow.
Thanks, Stephanie.
That was beautiful. What a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Thank you for playing it.
Thank
for
you so
us,
much.
For everybody. Oh my gosh. That I appreciate that so much. And what a treat that you did.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you everybody for joining us today. This is the first in hopefully a long succession of interviews with musicians as part of my Becoming Extraordinary multi-platform project. And thank you again, Tina.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks. And appreciate you guys. Remember, continue being extraordinary. Bye.